huge plays. Last week,
run away with the division title. The Bucs need to chase them down and reestablish dominance. From Charlotte, North Carolina, this is Chip Carter's Tailgate Sunday.
We are giving you a live look inside Ericsson Stadium as we're counting down to a 1 o'clock kickoff between the Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers in what really has to be probably the most important game for the Buccaneers this season. Good morning and welcome to Tailgate Sunday. A balmy 44 degrees right now in Carolina with the winds blowing at 6 to 7 miles an hour. Kind of brings the temperature down to 39 degrees. Winds are going to be tricky this morning for Martin Gramatica. We have got a packed half-hour show for you. When you consider that the Bucs have just 3 more division games after this, it is not a stretch to say that their title hopes for a division title will be either dead or alive after this ball game. Now, in the next half hour, we'll be hearing from both Brad Culpepper and Kris Field. They'll be live at Leroy Summers. We'll join them in just a minute. Also, of course, Monty Kiffin gives us probably his most complete breakdown of the season. But first, in terms of storylines, bringing in Buck GM Rich McKay. Rich, right off the top, Stephen Davis, not even dressing, won't take the field for warm-up, will not play today because of the ankle.
Good. You know, it's obviously a good situation for them to have Deshaun Foster sitting behind him. #1 pick, you know, good player. Didn't play all last year because of an injury. Has been pretty productive this year. It'll be interesting to see what they do if they come out with the same package, try to kind of run it down our throat, or if they have to throw the ball a little more because of not having Stephen Davis.
Does it give you a little bit of a mental edge knowing that Davis just isn't going to be in the lineup at all?
Well, I think it's one of those things that works both ways. I think early in the game, there's always a little doubt in the team that's lost the player, whether it's your quarterback or whoever it is. If that player that steps in does a nice job, I think it actually becomes a little bit of a rallying cry for them. I don't think it matters to us. I think we know the task at hand. As you said, we lose this game to them from a tiebreaker standpoint and everything else. Division championship becomes a stretch. So we know the importance of the game.
All right, talk about your own injury situation. John Lynch is coming back. What about Jason Whittle? How does it all fall into play?
Well, Whittle did actually pretty well midweek practice-wise. It's probably the healthiest he's felt. He really had not been healthy for about 6 weeks now. I think he'll be okay today. Probably rotate him in a little bit. John Lynch is ready to go, feels good. Should not be an issue today. Obviously, Jermaine Phillips is at home, or he actually probably here in a cast. He's not going to play. And Jared Vicious is not going to play. So we're banged up. At this time of year, Chip, everybody's banged up. You got to play through it. You got to not worry about it.
All right, we'll be back with Rich McKay in just a few minutes. First, obviously, after that loss to the Saints, the team stayed calm, really stayed collected, and that's a direct reflection of head coach John Gruden. And he tells us the same thing this morning on Just Gruden. This is not the time to go into Chicken Little mode.
Maybe just turn the sound down, you know what I mean? Maybe read a National Geographic, you know, read something else, okay? This is such a great country to live in because everybody has opinions that need to be heard. Hey, we lost Dexter Jackson and Al Singleton, okay? We lost John Lynch. We've lost Brian Kelly. We've lost a lot of quality players. And, you know, you throw in Singleton and Dexter Jackson, you've lost a lot of men that aren't playing much this year. Are we a shell of our former selves? I don't know. I mean, had we made a couple plays along the way and we're 6-2 sitting up here, maybe we feel differently. But I love this team. I'm proud of them. And we're going to finish strong. We're going to finish as hard as we can.
Yeah, maybe that kind of finish, Kevin O'Donnell, will finally bring him off this roller coaster ride of win one, lose one. That's right. You know, they've been spinning their wheels through the first half of the season. It's gotten them off to that 4-4 start. You know, each week in, week out, it's up and down as we talk about that roller coaster ride. And I tell you, it's been anything but amusing.
Let's go to war now, huh? Let's dominate. Dominate all day long. Let's go. We take the next step today. It's physical as football game is played all year, right here, and they'll quit.
When Anthony McFarlane and Warren Sapp took this wild ride at Universal Studios this summer, they could have not envisioned the roller coaster ride they were about to endure in the regular season. Each win followed up with a loss.
I can't really talk for everybody else, but me, pissed off.
Yeah, we're angry.
Frustrations are mounting from the twists and turns that have left this team in a dire situation.
We need a win. It's urgency. It's a big game for us, man. I mean, how big it, I think, is as big as probably bigger than the Super Bowl right now at this time, to be honest with you.
Second half of the season is definitely something we're going to have to pick up and put a streak together, and so no better time to start than in Carolina.
While the Bucs are screaming for a victory, they don't want to create pressure by calling this a must-win.
You start using that must word, it creates a sense of panic, and we're not panicking by no stretch of the words.
Obviously, this franchise has been in this kind of situation, the last 4 or 5 years, and last year was the exception. And obviously, it's a big game, and you kind of be careful with your words. You don't say must win, so got to have a win.
The Bucs can take comfort in their ability to regroup following a loss. They haven't been defeated in back-to-back games in over 2.5 years. And not only is John Gruden undefeated in these situations, but his Bucs have battled back big with dominating performances.
After 7 regular season losses under John Gruden, the Bucs have exploded the following week, winning by an average margin of 19.6 per game. 4 of those follow-up games came on the road, where the Bucs outscored their opponent 106-23. They include 2 shutouts.
You go one, win one, lose one, and get you 8-8, and that's not good enough. But I think we're all aware that if we start playing the football we're capable of starting this week in Carolina, we can make a run.
That's run, not ride, because the ups and downs of the first half of this season is making this team sick.
And this is a 2-game swing for the Bucs. They realize how crucial this game is. Either they're going to be 1 game back or 3 games back with 7 games to play, Chip. And they beat Carolina Panthers. They're certainly in the contention for that divisional title. They lose today, you can virtually eliminate them.
Actually, after that Saints game, Kevin, I like the attitude of the locker room, because really they're just looking at this second 8-week stretch really as the start of a new season. Thanks. All right, coming up next on Tailgate Sunday, Monty Kiffin gives us what I think has to be his best game breakdown of the season as he takes a look at this Panther offense. It's a lot more than just Stephen Davis, who, again, they will not have rushing out here this afternoon. We'll be right back. And we are live here at Tailgate Sunday in Erickson Stadium. Let's hook up with Brad Culpepper and Kris Field back in Tampa, Leroy Solomons. And Brad, you've been in this position before as a Buccaneer, sitting at 500, knowing the season can either go up or down.
That's right, Chip. Brad, as a former member of the Bucs front four, are you glad Stephen Davis isn't playing, or would you like to go up against the Panthers' best?
As a player, I mean, some guys try to say we want them at their best, but a win in the NFL is hard to come by. And I was always subscribed to I want the worst players out there. I want the team at their worst so we can get a win. So if Brett Favre could ever not play, I would rather play Green Bay without him. So not having Stephen Davis, I think, is a big factor in today's game.
Still critical, stopping the run. The Bucs talked about that all week. Stephen Davis or not. Simeon said, if this team stops the run, I will single-handedly win this game. Still a big factor.
Well, that's the flip side of the coin. Stephen Davis didn't do it alone. There were some big lines made by the offensive line. There's a good fullback. Hoover's made a lot of key blocks. So Deshaun Foster could have a big day if those holes are there. Now, the defensive line's got to step up, but it's not just them. It's the linebackers in the secondary as well, which keys to your next question.
Right. John Lynch, how big is that for the Bucs defense to have one of their biggest leaders back?
It's huge. John's been out not only in the leadership position, but this defense funnels to him. That's why he makes so many tackles. Maybe that's why he has some stingers, because he's made so many tackles with his head throughout his career. But the defense is funneled to Derek Brooks and to John Lynch. And if everybody's in their gap, they either make the play or one of those guys makes the play. So it's key to have him back, and I think for them to have success, he's going to have a whale of a game.
Brad, Jake Delhomme, he likes to work in those pump fakes before he finds his receiver. Since the Bucs have seen that once this season, are they not going to bite this time? Have you figured it out after seeing them in one game?
I don't know. Jake Delhomme doesn't scare the guys, I guarantee you. I mean, there are a lot of good quarterbacks in the league that do the pump fakes, and he does a good job of that. But that's not the guy who's going to scare the Bucs. If he's got to beat them, that's not going to happen. But I think the key is definitely to hand it off to the running backs and making sure that, that's the easiest thing to do in football. And if the Bucs can eliminate that, gladly put it in the hands of Jake Delhomme, because I don't see him scoring 30 points on the Bucs.
3 blocked kicks for the Bucs special teams back in September. And Martin Gramatica, he's been in a slump ever since. What's your take on the special teams struggles?
Well, they have struggled, and not only the kicks, but I think there were some key returns in the last game that gave them short fields and good positions on that. So not only does Martin need to get the ball up and through, but the punt team needs to cover well, and the kickoff team needs to cover well. So it's a key area in this game. To answer Chip's final question about being 4-4, the bad news is they're 4-4. The good news is you got a whole second half of the year, and the team that gets hot now actually is going to run into the Super Bowl. So what happens early in the season, as long as you're still in it, which they are, if you can get hot now and get in the playoffs hot, they've got a lot of good time ahead.
The Bucs definitely do consider this a fresh start. Back to you, Chip, live at Ericsson Stadium.
All right, thanks a lot, Kris and Brandon. I'll tell you, we talked with Rich McKay at the beginning of the program. You heard that Stephen Davis is out. That means Deshaun Foster is now going to be the man at running back. And I'll tell you what, when Monty Kiffin looks at game tape of this Carolina offense, to him it really doesn't matter who's running the ball, Davis or Foster, because he says to me, this offense is a lot more than just running the football.
Well, you know, I'll tell you one thing. I can't put in that chip blitz yet. Get off the block. Be physical. Once you start ganging up on the run, they're going to go play pass on you, okay? A lot of play fake because, you know, why do you play fake? Because they run the ball so much. This team runs the ball so hard, so they try to get the backers to bite up. Say backers freeze for a second.
Right.
Down and onto the run. Now they go deep. Now, this is what we call, this is really interesting right here. Watch this. This is what I've talked to you before about 3 deep, 4 under. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then here's your 3 deep.
Right.
Corner, deep third, middle third, backside third. And I've talked to you about this before now, Chip. I want to see if you've been listening up. Okay, I'm going to check you out right now. Now, let's critique this guy right here. Now, he's playing 3 deep.
Right.
He's got the flat. What would you say that he could do better right here?
Reroute him.
There you go. Good job, Chip Carter. Came up with the big word reroute. All right, folks. Oh, woo! We're getting on to now. So if anybody sees this guy catch the ball down the middle on us in 3 deep on Sunday in Carolina, that means the first thing, don't blame this guy. Look and find out who missed his reroute, okay? So you have got to reroute what we call 2 and 2. 2 people across, you got 3 deep.
Right.
You got what we call 4 verticals. Then somebody's got to reroute, okay? Because this guy can't stop it. He's in the middle of the field. Who's going to stop this play? He can't. He's got this guy going field. The only chance you got is you got to reroute this guy right here. Okay?
All right,
learned something today?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm fired up. Now, you going to show this whole show? You're just going to show parts of it?
No, whole show.
I have mixes. I work, you know, at nights and stuff. I don't get a chance to watch my show when it comes.
We don't even call it Chip Sportscast Thursday at 10. We just call it Kiffin's Corner.
You do?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think sometimes you cut some stuff out.
No, it's all valuable information.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right.
If you go to 4 and 5, I'm not too sure about it.
All right. Okay, man. Good to see you, buddy. All right.
All right, I don't think Monty Kiffin's going 4 and 5. When we come back, Buccaneer GM Rich McKay will be joining us live here in the sideline to take a look at the Carolina Panthers. And Scott Paul over at Leroy Selman's puts together a tailgate recipe. It's simple. It's unbelievably good. Have you looking like a pro. Next. For kickoff up here at 1 o'clock right here on Fox 13. Bringing in GM Rich McKay again. And Rich, when you take a look at this game, obviously, each team stressing the importance of running the football and shutting down the run, which is something the Panthers defense was able to do against you guys. Total of 60 yards rushing. Now, you had to start throwing the ball late, but you didn't get off to the running start you wanted to.
That's correct. And first, can the people at Leroy send us some ribs?
Yeah.
We need some food. Yeah, we didn't run the ball very well early in that game. And what happened in that game is they got ahead. And when a team gets ahead, then they're going to run a little more and be a little more effective. And you're not, because you're going to try to catch up and throw the football. I think from the middle of the third quarter through the fourth, we didn't try to run the ball at all. Today, we've got to establish a little more balance. But don't underestimate their front four. As a run-stopping defense, that's a deluxe front four. And we know that. So while we want to run the ball, quite frankly, we've got to throw the ball effectively in this game.
You know, so much of the Carolina offense really is predicated off the ability to run the football, because if the running game gets up and going, and you heard Monty Kiffin say that they start going to play action, freezes the defense a little bit with Deshaun Foster in there now. I mean, that maybe changes the complexion a little bit. But what was kind of surprising, and when you see that first stat, in the first game, 87 yards passing for the Panthers, even though they were running the ball well. What happened?
Well, they got ahead, so they were trying to be conservative in what they were doing. They really weren't going downfield. I would expect today, early in the game, to see them with some play action, take some shots downfield, take a chance and see if they can't make a big play. In that game, they just didn't make any big plays. And quite frankly, that was our second game of the year. We were healthy and we were playing pretty good defense.
Right. And the thing about it is every time you have lined up against these guys, it has always been close ball games. Must-win situation, big game, Rich. You know, it really is for you. But it is also for Carolina because they come in losing 2 out of their last 3.
No, 3 out of the last 4, hopefully. But, yeah, it is. And they're home. You know, it's a big deal to have home games in the division. We always say they count more than one game. They count for more than that, and I think they know that. I think our guys know this. If you're going to win the division and keep yourself in the race, you got to win today.
It is calm here, but it's actually pretty windy out on this field behind us.
It is a little blustery, but it's not. This isn't Chicago. You know, I actually like this setup. We've been to Chicago at this time of year and not been able to compete. We'll be fine today.
Flew in the show.
Yes.
All right. Thanks a lot. And I talked about some ribs. How about some burgers? Because if you want to do some tailgating, Leroy Sullivan's great place to start. Scott Paul hooks us up with what everybody has on their tailgating menu, burgers. But these he adds a simple, easy twist. Take a look.
Scott, I think everybody has burgers at a tailgate, but really what you've done here at Leroy Sullivan's is taken the burger and brought it to another level, starting with how you toast the bun.
Chip, it sounds so simple, but you have to have your bun hot. Kris is going to demonstrate it here for us. Your grill is red hot, and you always put it on your bottom rung.
Right.
Because that's hot. 10 seconds. Turn, 10 seconds, turn off. It's got a nice sear to it. That way all your condiments don't sink in and you don't have a soggy bun.
You've got the hamburger patty done, but now to take it up to that next level is what?
Everybody always has regular burgers, but what I like to do is have fresh vegetables.
Kris is cutting onions right now.
Exactly. And it seems sauteing them up is the best way to do it. You can put your pan right on your grill, a little bit of clarified butter, regular butter in there, giving them a nice toss. About 8 to 10 minutes is best because you always want to leave your vegetables and stuff with a little bit of a crispness to it. You don't like to bite into something soft and soggy.
Now this is the final step with the piece of resistance or whatever they want. It sounds pretty good, didn't it? Yeah, it did. It was pretty good. This is my favorite, blue cheese, okay? But really, I mean, when you look at everything on this table, this is exactly what people want, a lot of choices. When the whole thing's completed, the Leroy Sullivan blue cheese burger, look at that thing. Now that's a tailgate burger.
Yeah, people travel for that right there.
All right, Fox's NFL Sunday, of course, straight up at 12 noon, as it is every Sunday. Let's toss it out now live to L.A., find out what JB and company are lining up for us. What do you got, JB?
Hey, Chip, thank you so very much, buddy. And coming up on the one and only Fox NFL Sunday, we'll get a live report from Carolina as the Bucs get set for what is pretty much a must-win. Then, Howie Long has a candid interview with Warren Sapp, Keyshawn Johnson, and Coach John Gruden to find out why the Bucs are once again the Yucks. All that plus Ty Law on the set, Jimmy Johnson's email to Redskins owner Daniel Snyder, and a whole lot more. Simeon Rice guaranteed victory today, so here's my guarantee. Chip Carter will be getting this throw right about now.
Yeah, thanks a lot, JP. Nice tease, and that is definitely a guarantee. Jeff, spin around because we got some Buccaneer fans here. Erickson Stadium on a beautiful day for football. Brad Culpepper's keys of the game coming up next on Tailgate Sunday.
Stay tuned for highlights, plus interviews with coaches and players on Chip Carter's Buccaneer postgame show, immediately following Fox's coverage of today's NFL action.
I'm alive. Let Florida Detox help you overcome addiction to OxyContin, Percocet, and painkillers. I feel great. With anesthesia, Florida Detox allows you to avoid painful withdrawal.
I've never been happier in my life.
Florida Detox has saved hundreds throughout the United States. Most people from all professions are back to work within 2 to 3 days. Avoid painful withdrawal. Call today 1-888-775-2770 or visit floridadetox.com.
free to move about the country.
How do you take your times? With a twist and a shout to the rhythm on the beat, on the town for a thrill, on the edge of your seat, to the top, across town, on the web, by the book, for the style, for the taste, for the trends, for the look. With the hip-hop, blues, rap, rock and roll, for the dance, dine, double date, and reggae soul, for the powerful, the magical, the passionately classical, delicious, artful, independent, daily. How do you take your times? The St. Petersburg Times. How do you take your times?
The two biggest influences in my life were my father and my coaches.
We all played football here at St. Thomas High School in Houston.
My dad is old school. He does everything by the book.
Johnny and I look at him like a head coach in the kitchen.
My dad makes a mean sirloin marsala.
Howdy. In Texas, people grow up loving two things, football and a juicy steak.
When people taste my dad's sirloin, there's a lot of end zone dancing going on. Come to Carrabba's Italian Grill for our sirloin marsala.
It's not your typical Italian.
Hi, I'm Sheldon Quarles, and you're watching Tailgate Sunday.
All right now a beautiful day for football here in Charlotte Erickson Stadium. Let's bring in Brad from Leroy Selman's down there in Tampa. And Brad, when you take a look at this ball game, in your mind, the key to winning comes down to what?
Well, I think we've been on the schneid kind of on the special teams since this game. Martine's been unlucky and unfortunate, and there have been some goof-ups, I guess, on coverage. So I think it's a big key to this game. There were a lot of returns just like this one here. This shortens the field and makes it tough on the defense. It's almost like a turnover. So that, to me, is the key to the game. Another key would be Brad Johnson. I mentioned earlier that Jake Delhomme doesn't scare me. Well, if Brad Johnson has to win this game on his shoulders, that would scare them to me, because I think Brad Johnson can do that.
Well, you're right. And Martin Gramatica is 6 of 12, but he's had 3 blocked. And you're right, Brad. He said at beginning of last week, that he just doesn't feel as if he's in a rhythm. Right now, when you take a look at the picks from around the NFL, you're in a bit of a rhythm, starting with the who cares game. You got Pittsburgh over Arizona.
Yeah, I got Pittsburgh. I don't know what their records are. You really don't care.
All right, upset. You've got Miami over the Titans.
I do. You know, I've been anti-Miami all year. So, you know what? I'm going on their bandwagon and say, let's keep it in the state of Florida, and I think they're going to come up with a big win this week.
All right, now they don't serve crow at Leroy's because you've missed the last 2 locks of the week, but this week you've got Buccaneers over Carolina.
Well, Simeon Rice said he guaranteed it, so how can I go against him?
Right.
I've been in a rut. They haven't lost 2 in a row. I really think they're going to dominate this game. I think they win by 10 points. Now, that may be rub against the grain, but I really think they're going to go up and dominate today. That's what I'm expecting.
All right. Thanks a lot, Brad, for joining us. Thank Kris also. And remember, if you're just joining us, Stephen Davis is out. Deshaun Foster will be the main running back. Fox's NFL Sunday is coming up next at 12 noon. And then, of course, right here on Fox 13, 1 o'clock, Buccaneers and Panthers. Thanks for watching. Have a good afternoon.
Protection.
This is a game you got to have, isn't it, John? Tell me why.
We got to have all these games. Certainly as we start the second half, you don't want to fall 3 games behind. We got a lot at stake today. We're excited about it.
We appreciate it. Thanks, John. He's excited. Joe, back to you.
All right, Pam. Well, it may only be November, but there's no doubt why this game is so important to the Buccaneers today.
Well, it really is an important ball game. If they're able to win this game, they get right back in the divisional race, only down 1. But if they lose, not only are they down 3, but they lose the tiebreaker. So in essence, they're down 4 games, all practical purposes eliminated from winning the division. They would then have to get in as a wild card. A lot of interesting matchups in this game today, but I think one of the key elements is going to be Tampa's ability to run the football in the red zone, something they've struggled with here in recent weeks.
But they are playing the world champion Tampa Bay Bucks, and this is a team that's battle-tested. This is a team that's faced this type of playoff atmosphere before, so they're not going to be intimidated. And for Carolina, they're going to be tested today. Stephen Davis, their all-star running back, second leading rusher, he's out. Deshaun Foster comes in, maybe a little more big play capability, but certainly a great challenge for the Carolina Panthers today.
They got cannons going off. This place is packed. They're waving towels. This is going to be a big day. Just has that feel. Remember to answer the Sprint Virtual Coach question. You can use one of these, a Sprint PCS Vision phone, or log on to foxsports.com. That's all we have to say right now. But don't worry, there's football to come your way right after this commercial break. There's Jake Delhomme. He's getting ready to get it started for the Carolina Panthers. Panthers. Football next on Fox.
Let's take it over right now. I don't care what you got to do for 3 hours. Let's take it over right now. Let's make this our throne. We make our destiny right now. Ride on 3. Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
National Football League. It's time for Great Moments at Work, brought to you by the new Microsoft Office system. The San Francisco 49ers started their game off versus the St. Louis Rams with a bang. Cedric Wilson takes the opening kickoff and is able to get outside behind some key blocks and finally eludes Jason Sehorn to go 95 yards for the touchdown. The early score set the tone for the 49ers, who were able to celebrate as they pulled off the improbable 30-10 win, despite playing without injured quarterback Jeff Garcia.
Sometimes in the face of insurmountable odds, unlikely heroes. Turned it into something impossibly good. You have the new Microsoft Office system. Victory is yours.
Got it? No!
That's disgusting. If you're going to make a stop, use the right form. Stay low, use your shoulder, pump your leg. True.
Derek Brooks with us.
Rated E for everyone.
Sometimes you need a little help staying in the game. Introducing new Levitra. It's a new choice. And it's here now. Ask your doctor if a free sample is right for you. Ask about new Levitra.
Through Tuesday, Zales is having a store-wide sale with savings up to 60% and more. Like this 5-carat diamond bracelet, just $4.99, our lowest price ever. Quantities are limited at Zales, the diamond store.
What kind of a day is it in Charlotte, North Carolina? As we look at the standings in the NFC South, you've got Carolina at the top at 6-2, Tampa Bay 4-4. And as we have said and as has been written the entire week, this is in essence a must-win game if the Buccaneers want to have any hopes of winning the NFC South. Weather-wise, it is sunny, obviously. It is windy and it is chilly. A bit biting down on the field. And as we mentioned, with Veterans Day coming up, we look at Old Glory blowing in the breeze, 10 to 20 miles per hour out of the northeast. 10 personal fouls between these two the first time these clubs met, the 14th of September. That was the game that ended in overtime 12-9 when the Buccaneers scored late and had the extra point blocked. Boogity, boogity, boogity. We're ready to go here in Charlotte, and this is Thomas Jones. Good return by Jones, but penalty flags fly on this return as he gets it into Carolina territory. Dwayne Rudd gets up, pulling up his socks. And it's a hold against somebody on that Tampa Bay return team.
Holding, number 57, during the return, 10-yard penalty, first down.
You hold and then you pull up your socks.
And for John Gruden, he has to be going a little crazy. Field position, such a big problem the last time these two teams met.
You look at this offensive line, and they've got just about everybody out of place except for their center, John Wade. The backs and receivers, Michael Pittman. We will see a lot more of Thomas Jones. Keenan McCardell has had a terrific year getting the ball into the end zone with 5 touchdown receptions, and this crowd is already into it as the officials will spot the ball at the 16, and instead of starting in Carolina territory, the Bucs are backed up. On the ground, this is Pittman running left. Got to the 20, that's it, a gain of 5. Reggie Howard on the stop, and we look at the defense, very good, and what these Panthers can do and a lot of teams can't do. They can rush only 4 most of the time and still get pressure, Troy, on the quarterback.
That's the way John Fox, the head coach, likes to approach it. He likes to only rush 4 and move those guys around and try to confuse the opponent's offensive line.
They're confused, just trying to figure out where to line up. 2nd down and 6. Pittman again. Tries that left side again. A couple yards shy of a first down. A pickup of 4.
I think they might be testing Michael Rucker over on the left side. Of course, a couple of sacks, one of the sack leaders in the NFL. But he's had the bad ankle, and on the very first play, he just got buried on a double team, and both runs thus far have been to his side. Probably just checking him out, make sure he's healthy.
Of course, they're running behind the left tackle of Kenyatta Walker, who's made the change from right tackle to the left side. That's going to be a good matchup to follow throughout this day.
3rd and 2. First throw of the day. Johnson steps up and throws it shy of McCardell. Pressure with 4 and a 3 and out for the Bucs.
I think Michael Rucker's ankle's okay now. Coming off the end, working against Kenyatta Walker, making the move, just that speed move. And they know they've got issues over there. Kenyatta Walker, typically the right tackle, just not used to playing over there, and admittedly not very comfortable. And now you put over one of the best pass rushers in the league.
And the first thing you would do is you'd try to give Kenyatta Walker some help with a running back or a tight end. Brad Johnson telling us last night he prefers to get 5 guys out in routes.
Tupa right into the wind, and it hops out of bounds outside the 40. So great starting field position for Jake Delhomme and this Carolina Panthers offense. If this is a battle of field position, as John Gruden told Pam Oliver right at the start, the first round of that is won by the Carolina Panthers. You look at Delhomme and you look at this offensive line. Unlike the Bucs, this same group of starters has started all 8 games in front of Delhomme. And the running back, Deshaun Foster, a ton of talent, great speed back, did have trouble fumbling the football in college at UCLA. This is Foster. You see the speed, penalty flag on the play as Foster hops out of bounds with a gain of 11. But we'll check the marker, and it's coming back.
Number 60, offense, 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
That's Jeff Mitchell, the center, right here. He's going to have his hands full throughout the day. He's going to have to be working against Anthony McFarland, their nose tackle. He's going to need a little help. It might have been Warren Sapp there that he was holding, but look at that look from Chris Collinsworth, though.
Let's just say it wasn't a blatant hold.
Stephen Davis is watching. We already saw that little burst of speed that Foster has. First in flight out of the hand of Delhomme, and it's tipped. Masin Mohammed, the intended receiver. There's Derek Brooks. Always you say one of the best in the business. He's the best in the business. You look at the front 4 for this group. Simeon Rice, what a year he's having. And he has guaranteed victory for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today. He said if they stop the run, I'll take over the rest of the game.
That's right.
But he put it off on everybody else. You guys stop the run.
That whole run thing's not in his contract.
2nd down and 20. Foster trying to push the pile, and it's going to be 3rd and long for Carolina. And we saw right there, you see pulling guards and movement along that offensive line play after play for Carolina.
Yeah, they do a great job of moving their guards. Geno James along with Kevin Donnelly are the 2 guards that are going to be pulling an awful lot throughout the day. They don't come in with a lot of different runs, but they have a basic package of about 3 different styles, that being one of them. I think it shows you what Dan Henning, the offensive coordinator, is thinking when on 2nd and long he still sticks with the running game. He's going to view this as a field position game and just not do anything foolish early.
3rd down and 16 as you see the Falcons with an early lead on the Giants at the Meadowlands. Delhomme throws, has a man, but as the pass is caught by Smith, he is well shy of 1st down yardage. They bought a little more real estate. Now it's time for a Sauerbrunn punt.
And let's face facts. Jake Delhomme is not going to have the game put in his hands out here today. You go back the last 3 games, the quarterbacks for the Carolina Panthers have just put up horrific numbers. I think a quarterback rating of like 23 or something like that. 1 touchdown and 8 interceptions. They're going to win the game with their running game. When they get out of field position, they're going to be conservative, punt the football.
Sauerbrunn, one of the best in the business. And hangs a beauty. Calling for the fair catch is Carl Williams. And so we're back exactly where we started. At the 16-yard line, Tampa Bay with a ball. There's just a little less time on the clock.
More separation down the sideline. Rasheed Mathis had his eyes in the backfield that time and bid on the play fake. Peyton Manning, he's really done a good job of protecting the ball. You see 29 interceptions his rookie season. The previous 2 years, 26 and 21 interceptions and only 6 so far this year in their first 8 games. So he's done a good job of protecting the ball, but still he's hitting on those explosive plays.
And tack on one more. The interception will go on his record despite the fact that Darius coughed it up after the play. James cutting to the perimeter. And a
Dawson's kick spins toward Hall. He gets another chance from the 2. Breaks 1 tackle. He's to the 30, breaks another, and finally smothered at the 33-yard line. Now the Chiefs better field position on this possession. They trail by 3.
NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Friendly nonstop service all across the country. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom.
Who you got lined up today over there, CC? Cadillac, who's in your sights in this game?
There's a lot of people in my sights today. One of them, though, is Brad Johnson. That was Brad Johnson last week made a few un-Brad Johnson-like throws in that ball game. And when you have this type of a ball game today where defenses are going to dictate, you can't afford to make big mistakes like they did a week ago.
Washington leads early at home over Seattle 3-0. We're just getting started here in Carolina. Pass is complete to Pittman. The running back is the top receiver for the Bucs to this point in the season. Let's go for a game break and check in with JB.
All right, Joe Buck, take a look. Dan Reeves of the Falcons still looking for win number 200, maybe en route, opening drive, 45-yard jump by Walton Dunn. You check that stiff arm of Omar Stoudemire. It is Atlanta on top of the Giants in the Meadowlands by the score of 7-0. Back to Joe Buck.
That's my fault, that score, because I made the Giants the lock of the week, so,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
2nd down and 5. Little check down, and the pass is complete to Jones. Now they're saying incomplete, that it's skipped. The throw is low from Brad Johnson. That'll bring up 3rd and 5.
Yeah, and one of the things we're seeing right now, Joe, is that Michael Pittman, at least in the first couple of series, is going to be a big part of this passing game. Of course, as you mentioned, he's leading the team in receptions. Most of that is from the backfield. They are splitting him out more today. He had the catch on 1st down, and then he split out there and was trying to get down the field, and that's who Brad Johnson was looking for initially before he went to the underneath throw.
Bucs having a tough time lining up on 3rd and 5. Over the middle, and it is intercepted by Minter. On the return, Minter in for the touchdown.
set. They get into the bunch set. He's going to run what's called a pivot route, but right there, he slips. Brad throws it, trying to throw it on time. Mike Minter is there. But one of the reasons why Mike Minter is so close to the line of scrimmage is Tampa has not been able to create big plays down the field. They shrink the package, and Mike Minter's playing him pretty tight behind it and makes the play.
But Brad Johnson blew that one. Keenan McCardell popped wide open, and he didn't see him.
7-0 Carolina. Trying to deliver a divisional knockout blow to the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's McCardell wide open, but it's Minter getting his first pick and touchdown of the season.
Defense is prepared differently anytime Jerome Bettis is out there in the backfield.
The #2 all-time rusher for the Steelers organization, and he's only been here for 7 years. It's pretty good work. 3rd down and 4. Maddox going downtown again. Burris, the fade stop, and we've got a flag down. Burris, a huge target, 6'5", 226. Working on a smaller man in Burritt. And the flag looks to be against Pittsburgh.
There's Plaxico Burress. You called it a fade stop. They'll throw it to the back shoulder.
Offense, number 80.
And they're getting him with an
That's a
overt
10-yard penalty.
push-off right there on David
down.
Barrett. Anytime the officials, probably the back judge that called that, see that receiver extend his arms, Ron, to create separation. It's one of the things that they put a point of emphasis on this year. They create that separation. They're going to call offensive pass interference, and they get Plaxico Burress right there.
And you notice what happened with the run game going there, just a few plays. They go right to
Recipe chicken breast has just 11 grams of carbs and packs 40 grams of protein. So if you're watching carbs and going high protein, go KFC. And now get a 12-piece bucket of kitchen fresh chicken for just $9.99.
Chicken.
For a fresh way to eat better, you got a KFC What's Cooking.
Glenn Close returns as Homer's mother.
Look, I'm riding by myself.
The Simpsons season premiere, part of a full hour at 8/7 Central tonight on Fox.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
A throw from the guy on the left ended up in the arms of the guy on the right. Minter, his first interception and only the 6th for the Carolina Panthers. And a collision. Calling a fair catch was Darian Barnes as he went back and grabbed it before it ended up in Jones' arms. And Barnes calls for a fair catch. That's why they blew the whistles, and that's where the Buccaneers will have it, down by 7. Let's go back to the pressure on Johnson and the interception by Minter.
Well, Kris Jenkins has become one of the most dynamic forces in the league. John Gruden knew he absolutely had his hands full trying to get him blocked today. The Warren Sapp of the Carolina Panthers, and that pressure led to this interception. Brad just couldn't hold the ball and find the wide open receiver, Keenan McCardell.
One of the areas Carolina has struggled this year defensively is they've not had the turnovers that they were accustomed to a year ago. John Fox telling us the other day that we got to get our hands on the balls when we get opportunities. They took advantage there.
Aaron Stecker is in the backfield, makes a nice move and gets big yardage on 1st down. He's out to the 35. Gain of 15 yards and a fresh set of downs for the Bucs.
Nice little bit of running that time by Aaron Stecker. It's supposed to be a trap coming over here, and he's just going to bounce it back out the other way. Nothing there, and just reads the hole and breaks it back to the outside for a big pickup.
Longest run of the season for Aaron Stecker. And now it's Pittman, the tailback. Nice run by Pittman. Every time we do a Tampa Bay game, we talk about how hard Pittman hits the hole, and if he has any criticism from any of his offensive teammates is they wish he'd slow down a little bit and let holes and plays develop in front of him.
Yeah, and it's just not really his style, and it's not his personality. As you mentioned, he's a very physical, aggressive, downhill runner, and sometimes because he's not more patient than what he is, he gets there before the holes really develop.
Mike Rucker just came off the field on 2nd down and 3. to the sideline. McCardell has a Tampa Bay first down, forced out at the 48. Kenyatta Walker and Julius Peppers getting into it, and they've thrown a flag, and it just came down, so it figures to be something after the play.
Yeah, what Brad Johnson told us last night, if Kenyatta Walker and Julius Peppers were lined up against each other all day, we'd probably have 10 personal fouls. They really hate each other.
Yeah, the completed pass on the play. They made the first down yardage. This is a dead ball foul, personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 67. It's a 15-yard penalty.
So with that history, you saw the grab of the face mask by Walker, and the officials saw it and threw the flag.
Well, there was bad blood, Joe, coming into this game because of what took place in the first ball game. Kenyatta Walker was going hands to the face on a number of occasions against Julius Peppers, and Julius Peppers entered this game still upset about what happened in that first meeting.
Now they've changed sides and they're going against each other. Peppers gets by Walker as the pass is completed to McCardell. By the way, on the foul, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had picked up the line to gain, as they call it. So after the first down, they marked off the penalty, gave Tampa Bay a 1st and 10, and now after a gain of 5, it's 2nd and 5.
You go back to that first meeting between these two teams, and the Buccaneers had 17 penalties for over 160 yards, and that's not the type of game they want to get into today. There's no question. John Gruden addressed that with our Pam Oliver before the game. They can't have penalties that stop drives.
Ton of pre-snap shifting by the Bucs, and on second down they hand it to Pittman. A cutback run, and he's brought down about 1.5 yards shy of a first down.
And I wonder if Michael Rucker is hurt or not. He's not in the ball game right now, of course, coming off of that ankle sprain, and he is such a dynamic force. Maybe they feel like they need now to flip Julius Peppers over to that side on Kenyatta Walker and let him go to work. But if Rucker is out, it is a big, big story.
3rd and 1. Johnson rolls out, won't get it. Rolling out to his right to throw, pulled it down, and Morgan made the stop before Johnson got enough for a first down.
Well, they like to try to move the launch point for Brad Johnson so that the defense can't just tee off on where he's going to be in the pocket. This time they do a half roll with Brad Johnson. They split out Michael Pittman in the slot. He's going to run a flat route, and Brad Johnson's looking for him the entire way, but just good coverage. Not able to get the ball to him.
Yeah, I don't know what Pittman was doing exactly. Dan Morgan had him in coverage, and Pittman almost looked like he was blocking all the way instead of running a route.
Second punt for Tom Tupa. Line drive into the wind, hoping for a good bounce, and he doesn't get it. Just a 26-yard punt, and the Panthers have the ball and the lead.
The more you watch this guy play, the more you realize, and you know, I don't think I'm going out on a limb and saying this. I think Marcel Shipp at this point in his career is a better running back than Emmitt Smith.
He picks up 4, 2nd down and 6. Blake will let it fly inside to Bolden, and look at Bolden. He's going to run away here. Bolden out to the 50-yard line. Let's go to Los Angeles with James Brown.
Hey, Ron and Tim, take a look. We know the defense and special teams helped Carolina over the Bucs last time. Brad Johnson's intended receiver slip. Mike Minter, the safety, makes him pay. 9th pick thrown of the season by Brad Johnson. 29-yard return, and it's Carolina on top of the Bucs early, 7-0 back to Ron Pitts and Tim Robbins.
Boy, Ronnie, as good as Carolina runs the football with that defense, hard to spot them with a 7-point lead, and they own that division. If they win this game, it's pretty much theirs.
Blake, the pass again. The pressure by Porter, and he just gets it off. Incomplete pass.
Well, DVDs are cool. So are video games. We also have the latest music. Or classic hits.
Mint. Thousands of possibilities. Get yours. Best Buy.
Sometimes you need a little help staying in the game. Introducing new Levitra. It's a new choice. And it's here now. Ask your doctor if a free sample is right for you. Ask about new Levitra.
Already you have to be impressed by the work of the defensive line for the Carolina Panthers, and the front office for Carolina has been impressed, so much so that they've dumped a ton of money across that front four. Mike Minter with a first return for a touchdown for the Panthers. On an interception of Brad Johnson, and Delhomme is in trouble. Got out of the way with Rudd bearing down on him, and the pass is incomplete. John Lynch defending.
Well, they're wanting to take a shot down the field. That's something that this Carolina offense does not do a lot of, but they know they've got to create big plays. But because of the pressure, Jake Delhomme's not able to set up and take a shot down the field to Steve Smith.
Well, it's just so big to have John Lynch back in the lineup for the Buccaneers. Not only is he going to be a great help stopping the run, but you saw him react back from his run position to get involved in the pass coverage there. Very knowledgeable player.
Handoff is to Foster, bounces it outside, and can he move? Deshaun Foster with a first down. That's a big pick for this Carolina team. If he can hang on to the football. He didn't play last year after suffering a severe left knee injury, but he just has shown us already how quick he is.
Yeah, they pin Simeon Rice down inside, and then John Lynch comes in and gives up the outside lane. And if there's a difference in running styles between Deshaun Foster and Stephen Davis, it said Deshaun Foster is more inclined to bounce things to the outside, primarily because he has the speed to get there. I think that's going to be the big difference we're going to notice between these two backs.
Quick throw out to Smith. Got around the tackle of Barber. And is forced out of bounds after a gain of 9.
Well, I tell you, we don't often see on back-to-back plays John Lynch and Rondé Barber missing tackles in the open field. This has been a trademark of the Buccaneers for the last 10 years, their ability to get guys in the ground in the open field, and they're two of their best players just whiffed on the last two.
I think Steve Smith feels like he has something to prove today. He had the costly penalty at the end of the game last week that could have very well cost them the ball game. Excited about redeeming himself in this game today.
Been a good month for Smith. Outside of that penalty, Foster is wrapped up in a loss on the play. This time it's Rondé Barber making up for that missed tackle, a loss of 3.
Fool him once, but you don't get him twice, and that's the difference in my mind too. Deshaun Foster on occasion will give you the big plays by doing the jukes and all that. Stephen Davis would have taken that football in there, pounded it in, gotten us 3 or 4 yards. It would have been 3rd down and about 1. Deshaun Foster was thinking big plays and now put his team in a tougher spot.
So you're bailing on him already.
I gave him 1 play.
Very quick. Fickle.
It's the difference.
UCLA, you got to give him at least 5 plays.
It's the difference in the styles.
3 tight ends in the game for Carolina, 3rd and 4. Delhomme under pressure, steps up and fires, hits Smith. And that's a first down inside the 35.
Tell you what, it's just great pocket presence by Jake Delhomme, knowing where his receivers are and knowing where he's getting pressure. He's going to drop back here off of the play action. Obviously gets some push up in his face, but is able to slide to his right and at the same time know where Steve Smith is going to be within the route and deliver a perfect pass.
It's a great job, too, by Steve Smith, finding that void in the zone, not getting excited, waiting for the football. There are holes if you get time to throw it.
Fires, and the pass is incomplete for Muhammad. They have had 4 first down plays thrown on all 4. Let's go out to JB for a game break.
Hey, Joe, after spotting a 3-0 lead to Washington, Seattle's Matt Hasselbeck hooks up with Bobby Ingram, a 5-yard strike, and it's Seattle out in front of Washington by the score of 7-3. Back to JB.
All right, JB, 7-3 Seattle.
I think one of the things we've seen so far from Dan Henning is knowing that Tampa Bay is going to come up with the 8th man in the box and their willingness to still throw the football. That's something they've not done this season.
2nd down and 10. There's another throw. There's another one to Smith. Another good move and a 1st down. And Rondé Barber's getting up talking to himself.
You know, anytime they want to play that 8th guy up, that means that Rondé Barber has to drop back. So they're no longer in their trademark cover 2, which would put Barber right up in the face of Steve Smith. Now he's having to give off ground, and this guy's one of the great punt returners in the game, Steve Smith. So you get him in the open field, and nobody can tackle him.
Thought it was interesting talking to Jake Delhomme yesterday, and he said, hey, I feel a chemistry with Steve Smith. I've worked with him more. I didn't get the training camp reps with Muhsin Muhammad or Ricky Proehl. That's the guy I'm looking for.
Here's Foster. Good pressure up front, and it's Simeon Rice, who this time is stopping on the run. No gain on the play.
Yeah, and the knock against Simeon Rice is people have always said you can run the football at him, and that's what Carolina has tried to do here early. But on this play, Simeon Rice does a good job of getting a push up the field and getting his hands on Deshaun Foster. I think talking about Deshaun Foster, it's really pretty remarkable that the guy is even out here playing. He had a major knee injury in preseason last year, and a lot of people didn't even believe that he would be able to come back and play. They thought his career may be over, and that's the main reason why they brought in Stephen Davis in free agency this offseason.
2nd down and 10. Delhomme hits Foster out of the backfield. Deshaun Foster, another missed tackle by the Bucs, and a 1st down for Carolina.
Todd Stussy working on the outside against Simeon Rice is the guy that really is making this thing happen. You need time against this Bucs defense. They're going to try and rush 4, and they just simply are not getting there right now.
There's a penalty flag on the far side of the field at the 11-yard line, and the officials are trying to sort it out. And it's against Carolina. So instead of 1st and goal with the ball at the 6.
Illegal use of the hands to the face. Number 87. 87 offense. 10-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Well, that's Muhsin Muhammad, and we'll take a look and see exactly what it was. And boy, if that was it right there, he's trying to swim move, knowing that it's man-to-man coverage just to take the defensive back out of the picture, and they call him for hands to the face. That's a tough call.
Talk about having nothing to do with the play whatsoever. It's miles away from where the ball was, and that was a nothing call.
And it never gets called. That just, I mean, that's just a swim move exactly as Troy called it that happens on every play.
So instead of 1st and goal from the 6, the ball is all the way back at the 30. And why not? It's been working so far, but Smith can't hang on to the ball.
You know, Simeon Rice is a guy who gets very involved in a lot of different areas of this defense. He seems to always be around the football and getting his hands on it. And one of the reasons, as we see here, he drops. It's a zone dog at the time, and they drop Simeon Rice into coverage. And even if they had been able to make that play, Simeon Rice was going to be there to make the stop.
I think anytime they see Muhsin coming across, they're thinking that quick screen out there because he's going to go kick out the corner.
Stephen Davis watching. Handoff is to Deshaun Foster, his replacement, and he hits a wall at the 30. And that wall is named Greg Spires.
Big hit there and big stop, because what Carolina was trying to do is to gain a couple of yards to help John Casey with this field goal.
Yeah, no question there that Dan Henning not wanting any mistakes out of Jake Delhomme. Let's run the football, try to pick up some yards, and get a better position to attempt this field goal, rather than throw the ball on 3rd and long.
19 straight he's made. This is a 48-yard try, kicking with the wind. Good snap, good hold. He is a good kicker. 20 in a row by John Casey. There's nobody going any better than the left-footed Casey, 13-year pro out of Georgia. It's 10-0 Carolina in a big battle in the NFC South.
Beyond the Call.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
They called it the Music City.
On the defensive end, Trent Green has leveled some guys this year. Hey, all right, it wasn't a killer block, but it was very 100% effective.
It was productive.
It was a
to the perimeter. Vince Manuwai with a block on that left side and an 8-yard gain for the talented Taylor.
And this is what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to give it to Fred Taylor because he can make things happen. He still has the move.
Looked like they may have pulled a Tasker and left early.
I didn't invent that, but I perfected it.
Holding, receiving team, number 36, 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
Steve Tasker was a 7-time Pro Bowl player who began at Houston. Let him get away.
Last season, in the loss here to Atlanta, the Giants had injuries with Hamilton rupturing his Achilles tendon. Michael Strahan was injured in that game. Kenny Holmes didn't play in that game.
Officially a 47-yarder for 20 in a row for John Casey. It's 10-0 Carolina here in the first quarter.
Through Tuesday, Zales is having...
No one's been able to make the perfect chicken strip with the right chicken.
Sure, this is
The new witness.
What do you got?
It's the world's best shave. Mach 3 Turbo.
In the end,
there, and then all of a sudden it's a little too easy. And Brown senses it's too easy, and he plays it right there. See Brown? He's set up right there to tackle Bryson, and that's why Harrington, I think.
On the
Stay productive and in touch when you're away from the office.
Can you hear me now? Good.
Now ask how you can save up to $200 on select wireless PDAs and BlackBerry devices.
Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
Rich Eisen hosts NFL Total Access.
Well, a good start for the Carolina Panthers, up by 10. Minute 51 to go in the first quarter, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go back to work. Johnson has thrown an interception. His 6th in the last 3+ games. Trying to set up a screen. And it's not there. Thomas Jones was the one looking for the pass from Brad Johnson, and there was nothing there. Next week, what's going on? The Giants at the Eagles. The main early game plus other regional action, and then we will be down in Tampa, Florida for the Green Bay Packers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 2nd down and 10. And Mike Rucker back in the lineup. He was the one to make the play on the last play. Took most of the last defensive series off. Pittman. 3rd down coming up after a gain of 4. Rucker made the stop there.
This really is the next generation Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. When you look up and down the line, Julius Peppers and Michael Rucker on the outside with the great pass rushing capability. Kris Jenkins on the inside to bring the pressure. Dan Morgan, a great young middle linebacker. This is really going to be the defense of the future right here.
So you're saying what Tampa Bay did, now Carolina's taking it to the next level.
I don't know about the next level. I'll tell you after this game.
Oh, that's weak. 3rd and 5. Johnson out of his hands and nearly intercepted. Keyshawn Johnson had enough, and he hung on for a first down, but it went through his hands and almost into the arms of Deion Grant.
This is an area where this Tampa Bay team has struggled in recent weeks, converting on 3rd downs. Golden opportunity right there. Keyshawn just a little off balance as he comes off the jam, and the ball hits him right in the headgear. They're very, very fortunate that that was not intercepted.
I tell you, this is a Bucs team that didn't look like they've come out completely ready to play, and the Carolina Panthers are the ones that look like they're playing for their lives out here today.
Tupa's had trouble punting this direction. This one gets to a point and just stops. Takes a hop, and the ball will be marked at the 24. That's where the Carolina Panthers will take over. And I think more than just the defense for the Carolina Panthers, I think we've seen some flashes from this offense that's been impressive. And I don't know that across the league, people and quote-unquote experts are really taking Carolina as a serious contender, but so far very good against Tampa Bay.
Well, they have been, and the thing that I've been impressed with so far in this game is that they have thrown the football more than what they've shown at other times in previous games. And I do know that if they're going to achieve what they want to, Jake Delhomme at some point is going to have to shoulder the load for this team.
A handoff on 1st down, and Foster's going to try the other side. Delhomme tried to throw a block, but whiffed, and a loss of 1 on the play.
All right, how many times do I have to let him do that since he's from UCLA before I can say something?
3 more times.
Well, considering it's his first NFL start, I would hope that he'd get at least a ball game under his belt.
I'll give you 3 more, but those are the kinds of plays that for Carolina, this offense isn't built for. I mean, they really are built on give me 3 yards, give me another 3 yards, let's play some power football. When you end up 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13, now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the great advantage with their pass rush.
Of Foster, and with 9 seconds remaining in the 1st quarter, 3rd down and long coming up for Jake Delhomme.
You know, talking with Stephen Davis the other day, I said, you know, what have you been able to do in order to help Deshaun Foster? And he's just had to talk to him and calm him down. He's a very excitable young man, as we knew when we had a chance to visit with him the other day. Very nervous in the meeting that we had with him, and he has even admitted that he's got to develop a little bit more patience. But as they say, because of his speed, and it's very typical with guys that have that kind of speed, there's a tendency for them to want to try to bounce things, and that's what he likes to do.
Empty backfield behind Delhomme on 3rd down and 11. Simeon Rice coming off the right end. Overran it, wide open is Prohl. Ricky Prohl with a catch and a 1st down inside the 40. That's what he did with the St. Louis Rams. That's why he was brought here to pick up big 1st downs.
And this was all set up because of Jake Delhomme being able to escape the pass rush. They thought they had him in the pocket. The corner thinks that he's going to be stopped. He lets him go. Ricky Prohl runs right by him. And that's what created the big play.
Big play, big 1st down. End of the 1st quarter in Carolina, 10-0 Panthers.
Access. Stay productive and in touch when you're away from the office.
Can you hear me now? Good.
Now ask how you can save up to $200 on select wireless PDAs and BlackBerry devices.
Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
Rich Eisen hosts NFL Total Access.
Ron, not real complicated what Pittsburgh does via the blitz. Watch, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 guys versus 1, 2, 3 guys. It's the weak side. They call it 4 weak. And basically, you make the running back commit, and then there's nobody to block Alexander, who's going to shoot right through there to get Jeff Blake. And again, it's a real simple scheme. You send more than they've got on that side that they can pick up. If Alexander, in my opinion, is a little bit quicker to the line of scrimmage and times that better, he's got himself a sack.
Well, I think Blake could have hit the last 2 blitzes. This is Maddox, 1st and 10. Play action, they'll throw the out. Burris has it. I don't know how he could not have that one. He compounded his chest with it. David Barrett was on the cover.
Revolutionized driving. Now our advantage is yours on the A4, A6, and TT. Take the advantage now.
He's just playing, Hank. Gangsters and hoes is his generation's cowboys and Indians.
That's what I'm talking about.
King of the Hill, all new, part of a full hour starting at 7 tonight on Fox.
Time of possession split right down the middle between these two teams, but that was a first quarter dominated by Carolina. Getting a touchdown from their defense and Mike Minter, getting a 47-yard field goal from John Casey, and now a big 3rd down catch by Kroll. Set up a 1st down at the 39-yard line. Muhammad. Wansley missed a tackle, and Muhammad a big gain on 1st down to the 33-yard line, a gain of 6.
Let's go back to the 3rd and long play here. John Lynch is going to be responsible for this half of the field, going to roll up the corner here, and actually a mistake here as he follows the route inside. But John Lynch is going to jump the slot route and leave nobody deep in coverage. Allow the big play for the Carolina Panthers.
Sapp is off the field on the sideline on 2nd down and 4. And a toss to Foster. Cuts it upfield. Deshaun Foster has a 1st down for the Panthers.
Musa Muhammad with a great crackback block to open things up for Deshaun Foster. Muhammad has taken a lot of heat this year for not putting up the receiving kind of numbers that he has in the past. But in this offense, as much as they run the football, blocking a huge part of it. He pins John Lynch and opens it up for the big run.
Yeah, Muhammad, who's had to adjust his role. I mean, just in 2000, he had 102 receptions, and now he's really been relegated to more of a blocking wide receiver, not nearly as involved in the passing game because of the philosophy change.
With Lynch coming on a blitz, Delhomme throws it away.
And I think it's really interesting when you look at what Carolina is doing offensively, throwing the football, and I don't think it is entirely due to the fact that Stephen Davis is hurt and not playing in this game. I think Carolina enters this game, and Dan Henning realized that we need to try to manufacture and create some plays, and not feeling that they were going to get that in the running game. They've done a marvelous job of changing things up, and I think they've really got Tampa Bay on their heels right now.
Fumble by Smart. Able to recover and get back on top of it.
That was my big question coming into this game. When you watch the Carolina Panthers on film, they are the most well-coordinated running team I have seen on film all year. Minnesota Vikings are pretty good as well. But this offensive line, the way they pull, the way they scrape, the way they hug tight on the running plays, and Stephen Davis gets in there, they're just so well-coordinated. And so far, the timing of the running game just isn't there without Stephen Davis in the backfield.
That loss on the play pushes the Panthers to the very edge of field goal range, and again into the wind. That's how the Panthers are playing right now. Be about a 50-yarder. On 3rd down, Delhomme fires. It's caught, and an immediate tackle by Brooks as he drops Deshaun Foster. You know, Jake is he's a Cajun guy. He gets excited. He's very emotional, and admittedly so. And people tell him that he has to calm down on the field. But on that play, he really believed that it was a late hit and roughing the passer, and he was trying to do everything that he could to get the call from the referee. Boy, this is a gutsy decision here by the Carolina Panthers. If Casey doesn't hit this, and he is staring at a 53-yarder, Tampa Bay will have terrific field goal position. And instead, they snap it to him, and he punts. Penalty flag on the play, and it is a beautiful punt down inside the 5.
What in the world?
Ellis Wims is in the middle of it. Carolina's saying Wims touched the ball and that they recovered it.
And if he did, it would be Carolina's football right there.
On top of that, there was a flag thrown at the very beginning of the play. The Panthers are saying they have it, and if they do, it's because of Ellis Wims. It looked to be touched by Carolina first. Well, that was not the hand of Ellis Wims.
Just have no idea why Wims felt like he had to go get involved in this play regardless.
That's the long snapper, the left hand of the long snapper, Jason Kyle. Once he touches it, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will not lose possession of the football. But remember, there's a flag at the very beginning of the play. Now Warren Sapp is getting into it with Buckner.
Remember Warren Sapp.
Offsides. Number 26. Defense. Penalty is declined. We'll take the result of the play. First down.
It was just a beautiful little pooch punt by John Casey.
It really was. It was very well executed and nice results on the play.
So instead of trying a 53-yarder, this little kick from Casey, and the Buccaneers down by 10, backed up near their own end zone.
Secondary over on the sidelines drinking water, kicking back.
Second down and 10.
Got to get some points on the board.
Maddox tried to throw the screen, not a receiver in the area.
Pressure on the play by McKinnon.
I didn't see anybody over there.
Yeah, but the rule on the screen pass, as you know, they can throw it at the feet when it's a screen pass. But it looked like he had Jay Reimers wide open in the corner of the end zone and just didn't find him.
Third down and 10.
Jay Reimers hasn't started, hasn't been in the lineup the last couple of games. They got him from Buffalo to be that guy, to threaten the field as a receiving tight end. That time Tommy wasn't able to find the hookup.
Bettis had gotten tackled on the play. Bring up a 3rd and 10. That's Randall L in motion. There's movement.
Hey, Ricky, Bill from down the block. Saw your dog got out. Anyway, I chased him about a block down. Took a header into a thorn bush. You know what? I'm scratched up, but okay. Don't worry about me. The dog is what's important.
I don't have a dog.
Whoops.
If you really want tickets to the game, just use your Visa. It's the card you know they'll take everywhere you want to be. Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Cadillac. Bold vehicles defying convention. By Wachovia. Together we can achieve uncommon things. By Sprint. Proudly offering picture mail and PCS Vision picture phones. And by Visa. If you love the NFL, it's everywhere you want to be.
While we were in commercial break, Carolina threw the red challenge flag out. And you would think that the sideline would get better help than that, because this flag represents a challenge saying that it was touched by Wims. That's the person who was down the field for Tampa Bay. But this is in essence an illegal touch. It's done by the long snapper Jason Kyle. It's his left hand that hits the ball first. And at that point, Tampa Bay can't lose the football. You'll see the hand hit right there.
And you'll see it happen a lot of times with punt returners. Once the ball has been touched by the receiving team, you'll see the punt return, or the kicking team, you'll see the punt returner come in and make an effort to pick it up because he knows that he can't have worse position than where it was initially touched.
But the good news for Carolina is the field position stands, and that's down inside the 5 with the ball at the 2. That's where the Buccaneers will go at it offensively. Carolina this year has challenged a call 5 times. Have had 4 reversals, but they're about to go 4 out of 6 after this.
Well, the other thing that we were talking about a little bit last night is with these challenges. Last week, John Fox had to go with 2 early challenges in the game. 2 easy calls to overturn for the officials. And yet by going with both of those challenges, he was left with no challenges the rest of the game. Now, it didn't end up being a factor, but in my opinion, you should never lose your last challenge if you're right. Both times he was right. The officials made mistakes both times. I don't think you should ever lose that final challenge based on the fact that the officials were wrong on 2 easy calls.
Well, and then knowing the rule that you only have 2 challenges, the fact that John Fox is challenging this call when it appears to be a very easy call to make, and that the officials did make the right call, then this will only leave him with 1 more challenge. And when you're talking about a game that 2 of the last 3 have been decided by a field goal, you know, this is a big challenge, and missing out on the challenge.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. This is touched by Carolina at the 3-yard line. It's a first down for Tampa Bay. Carolina is charged a timeout.
So what you're saying, Kris, is you make it, you take it. You make the last basket, you get the ball back. You get the reversal on a challenge, you get to keep your last one.
I never thought of it in those terms, but yes.
From the 2, and this crowd will crank it up.
It's a tough place down here, isn't it, Troy, when you get backed up and you can't hear the snap count and the crowd gets involved and defense gets jacked up. It's hard to get it off this goal line.
And the first thing you're thinking about as an offense is just trying to get it off this goal line. You're hoping to pick up 1 first down just to give your punter some room to maneuver and punt in the event that you're not able to continue with the drive. But very difficult. You're not able to use snap count down here because of the noise. A lot of times it's hard on these offensive tackles to hear as well coming off the ball.
So far, the Carolina Panthers are not only winning the game on the scoreboard, but they are winning that field position battle. And here they are at the 2 of the Bucs. Julius Peppers is on the sideline as this series starts. Pittman, nowhere. Deion Grant coming up from the safety spot. Jameel Cook, the fullback on that play, getting into it, but no flag was thrown.
And here's what happens. You come up and you see Brad waving his left hand. This was more than likely a check with me in the huddle. We're either going to run to the right or run to the left. And by him waving his left hand, he's letting the tailback and the fullback know that that's the side they're going. Right here, he's waving the right side.
Play action out of the backfield. The pass is caught. That's the fullback Cook. Hit immediately. And that'll bring up 3rd down. A gain of 7 on that 2nd down play.
Well, you get down in there, and as a quarterback, they're running play action, and you just know you don't have a lot of time to sit and wait on receivers to get down the field and get open. You're just trying to get set and get rid of the football to the first guy to get open, and that's what Brad was able to do on that play. This is a key 3rd down right here.
Quick throw, and the pass is caught. Hung on to by Keyshawn Johnson. A little juggle and some breathing room for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, that one hit Keyshawn Johnson right square in the pads again. He almost dropped this ball, and another good throw by Brad, but almost was able to jar it loose because he didn't catch it the first time.
And literally by having his legs undercut him, it sort of created a table for that ball to sit on while he could get his hands back on it. It just fell on top of his chest. Good break for the Buccaneers.
Ricky Manning made the stop, and he was slow to get up. So they check on Manning. These players talking to one another. This is a fun start in Carolina with the Panthers up 10.
Hey, what's a 4-letter word for snatch?
Grab. All right. Oopsie.
Well, 2 of 3 on 4th. 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 2 of 3 on 4th
go right back to him. Malone deep back. Rudy Johnson, he gets the ball right behind the big guy. But this time the linebackers fill the gaps. So Rudy Johnson is cut down by Terrence Martin, the nose tackle.
Well, just as we saw on the first drive, as they get down close, the field shrinks, and it's really important that you're able to run the football down close with Rudy Johnson. But as we saw in that first drive when the Bengals were successful, they threw the ball when they got down close for the touchdown.
Well, they're getting 6.2 yards a carry, Steve, from Rudy Johnson. 17 carries, 105 yards. Second down and goal. From the 6, Rudy Johnson up the middle, fighting down to the 1-yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal from there. They talked about riding the big blocking of Willie Anderson, number 71. They call him Highway 71, which is a big interstate route that runs.
Breakthrough. It's Fox Millionaire Monday with 2 full hours of Joe. As the field narrows, how far will these European women go to win the heart of a guy they think is rich?
It's always nice to see a guy half naked.
Let's just say he's going to have fun finding out. It's 2 full hours of Joe, starting tomorrow at 8/7 Central on Fox Millionaire Monday.
First down, Buccaneers. Down by 10. And the pass is complete to McCardell. And he is swarmed and gang tackled by the Panthers after a gain of 9.
This game's getting nasty out there. And I think a lot of it dates back to the first matchup in this one. Talking with Brenson Buckner earlier in the week, and he said that Derek Brooks at the overtime coin toss came out and said, hey, you guys are not made for this. This is where champions step up. Buckner took it back to his sideline, told everybody, and of course Carolina went on to win that game. But that really has become their mantra throughout the course of this season.
Kris Jenkins came across. If it's against Carolina, it's a first down for the Buccaneers.
Buckner also made the comment during preseason that Kris Jenkins was already better with Warren Sapp.
Number 77, defense, 5-yard penalty.
It's first down. It's first down.
Take a guess.
It's first down. You know, this has been a heck of a drive already for Tampa Bay, coming off the 2-yard line, and now they're able to push the ball out to the 30. If they do nothing else on this drive, at least they reestablish field position when and if they punt. Jenkins got the contract after week 2 that Sapp's looking for. On first down over the middle, it's Pittman out of the backfield, incomplete. And with that, we will get it out to James Brown with a game break from LA.
Hey, JB, Washington has narrowed what was an 11-point deficit to 4 when Patrick Ramsey hooks up the Lavernius Coles 15-yard strike to make it 14-10. Seattle and New York has evened it up with Atlanta. Dorsey Levis culminating a 72-yard drive with a 2-yard dive, and it's all knotted at 7 back to Joe Buck.
Must be those hot reads helping Washington today.
There you go. On second down, Pittman. Not much. Gain of a couple. Third down coming up.
Now, we have some of the best pass rushers in the league playing in this ball game, and yet we don't have any sacks thus far. And don't forget, Tampa Bay defensively a chance to set an NFL record with 69 consecutive games with a sack. It's going to be tough to get against Carolina, though, as much as they run the ball and the way they protect.
Third down and 8. Over the middle, Keyshawn Johnson. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have checked into Carolina territory.
Keyshawn Johnson last week had 10 catches. Prior to that, he had only had 2 in 2 ball games, but he's off to a great start here today. Carolina's playing a cover 2, which exposes the middle of the field. Of course, it took a great throw by Brad Johnson in order to fit that ball in there. Good coverage. Keyshawn Johnson goes up, and Brad Johnson delivers the ball. Perfect passes beat perfect coverage every time.
And perfect protection from what we've seen thus far.
With a banged up and reshuffled offensive line. Penalty flag on the play as the pass is complete to Pittman. And this is going to be against Tampa Bay.
I wonder if it's Kenyatta Walker. That has been his trademark, going to the face mask.
Well, the body language he's showing is saying that it is him.
Personal foul. Face mask. Offense, number 67, 15-yard penalty remains first down.
That's a huge penalty, the 15-yarder, to back the ball all the way to the 37.
There he goes right there. He wants to get those hands up to the face, and obviously it's a very effective means of pass blocking, but you just can't do that. He's got to come up with a new technique because these 15-yarders are just killing his football team.
Well, after what happened in the first meeting, you know that these officials have been told about it and they're looking for it.
First down and 25. Buying time is Johnson, and just able to get rid of it. Al Wallace had pressure and had a chance for a sack, but came up with only Jersey.
You know, and Al Wallace is another guy who, you know, obviously those first four guys, the four starters, are the ones that get a lot of the attention, and rightfully so. But Al Wallace provides great depth for this defensive front, and when he's given the opportunity to play, he's come in and he's done a good job.
Well, now you look and you see Shane Burton out there. They are really rotating across that defensive front with a 10-point lead. Second down and 25. Handoff is to Jones. Boy, did he hit the hole hard. Brad Johnson almost couldn't get it into his arms.
One of the things that happens when you have a great athlete at defensive line, Kris Jenkins going to split up the field here, and sometimes you can duck in behind him. He wants to get up the field and get penetration. It's an easy guy to get those trap blocks against when you're coming downhill running the football.
Third and 15. McCardell, it can't get there in time, incomplete. And Brad Johnson ends up on his back.
And it would have been close as to whether or not they pick up the first down if Keenan McCardell's able to make that play. But Brad Johnson, over the past few games, has just not been able to put a lot on it. Now, he does get pressure here in the pocket. You're going to see that he's taking a hit there late, but that didn't keep him from being able to step into that throw, and he's just lacked a little arm strength on some throws here over the past 2 to 3 ball games.
Tupa happy to be kicking the other direction. Almost blocked. Smith from inside the 10. Going sideways and in trouble. Nowhere to go and down inside the 10. Gerard Cooper almost blocked it. And there's a penalty flag back near the original line of scrimmage. It was a 45-yard punt, nothing on the return. And it's a hold against Carolina.
And I can bet you Gerard Cooper got their attention.
Holding. Number 52 on the receiving team during the kick. It'll be enforced from the end of the kick. First down.
When you consider the 2 blocked field goals and then the blocked extra point in the first meeting, you can bet that Gerard Cooper got their attention, getting through the line clean with a potential to block that punt.
Guaranteed he got Gruden's attention. Now Carolina backed up inside their own 5, up by 10.
Beautifully thrown over the middle, but the ball is dropped by a disgusted Andre Johnson, who rarely drops a ball. This sensational rookie from Miami of Florida.
Ship. And again, in my opinion, and Emmett, as great as he was, and he's a Hall of Famer and he's the all-time leading rusher in the National Football League, in my opinion, right now Marcel Shipp is a better back.
That was a pickup before on the pass play. Second down and 6. They fake the end around. They give it to Anderson. And Anderson's got a few. Anderson, the backup running back, actually running more like a third-team back. Second-year man from Northwestern. He picked up 3.
And everybody's wondering back in Arizona how Dave McGinnis is going to handle it when Emmett does come back and is able to start a football game. And whether he puts him in to be the starter and brings Marcel Shipp off the bench or vice versa. And it's going to be interesting to see what decision he indeed makes. But he says, hey, it's a good problem. It's a good dilemma to have. 2 very good running backs.
3rd down and 3. Empty backfield for Blake. No blitz by the Steelers. And he throws it behind Bryant Johnson, the rookie out of Penn State.
Now I'm going to blame that on the
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Chevy Silverado. It's the right truck.
.49 degrees at the start of the day in this beautiful city. People who come down here don't want to leave. No.
I bet some wishes that he had left.
6:45 left.
Looks like cotton candy on that one guy's head.
Halloween was last week.
Seattle with a 17-10 lead at Washington. Handoff is to Foster. Strings it out. And doesn't get much. Forced out by Wansley, a gain of only 2.
Well, I really think that this is going to be a key defensive series right now for Tampa Bay. There's 6.5 minutes left in this first half. They've got Carolina backed up. If they're able to make a stop here, then they give the ball back to their offense with great field position and an opportunity to get points here before the half. And you know, it seems like obviously Tampa Bay is a great defensive football team, but at times this year when they've had to make stops, they've been unable to do so. They failed to do it last week also.
At the end of the game with 2 minutes left to New Orleans. Carney hit a 47-yard field goal to win it for the Saints. Delhomme with plenty of time, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Wansley. Looking for the end zone and in for the score. 50 consecutive games with at least 1 takeaway for this Tampa Bay defense.
Why?
And that gets the Bucs on the board.
Why? I mean, you've got Jake Delhomme at quarterback. You have a 10-point lead. You're backed up on your 5-yard line. This is just a horrible throw. Musa Muhammad runs a comeback or a little hook route. He's wide open. He just sails it over his head. Got Wansley beat. Easy pitch and catch. Why put the ball in the hands of Jake Delhomme in that situation? Punt it out of there. Let your defense win the game.
You can see Jake's reaction after the throw. He knew it was high, and he knew he made an error. And he paid for it with an interception for a touchdown.
So Wansley is in. His first interception, first touchdown of the season. And Tampa Bay fans hold their breath as the blocking scheme is good enough, and Gramatica hits the extra point. The reaction by Delhomme and the reaction by Tampa Bay saying we're not ready to pass the torch yet. They're on the board down 3 now.
We got a problem up here. Tower 12, weather's moving it.
Heading up.
Do you have the right truck? Does your truck have a Duramax diesel? Does it have an Allison transmission? Silverado. It's the right truck from Chevy. Silverado is the only full-size pickup available with OnStar.
Your boss expects a report in 1 hour, but it's a gorgeous 74 degrees outside. So you handle it like a true professional. With a laptop powered by Centrino, Intel's mobile technology, you can work wirelessly in thousands of places, even Bryant Park, under your favorite tree. Intel Centrino mobile technology.
John Lynch and his mom brought Chuck Flynn new Campbell's Chunky Grilled Chicken and Sausage Gumbo. It filled him up right.
Tell me what else? What else should he be doing?
Sure beats another frozen dinner. Chuck ate heartily. Later, his buddies ate their hearts out.
Fox Tuesday. That 70s show brings you 1 full hour of fun on a special night.
Working with someone you have had sex with is the worst thing ever. I don't know how Donnie and Marie do it.
Then, on an all-new
24.
He's closing in on the virus.
The crisis takes a turn.
Get out of the way! Move!
That no one is prepared for.
Tony! The virus is out!
An all-new 24 after a special hour of That 70s Show. It all starts at 8/7 Central, Fox Tuesday.
The record for at least one takeaway in consecutive games held by Philadelphia. They did it from the mid-'80s until 1990. 71 is the record. 50 straight now for the Tampa Bay defense. And they turned that takeaway into points. Rod Smart. Good blocking. Smart. Penalty flag on the play. Penalty flag is down. So's Gramatica as Smart is into the end zone. 94 yards, but will it stand?
Looks like Kemp Rasmussen may have been the guy. A hold on the return, and it was not really consequential to the play.
Holding during the return. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Tom White able to keep his concentration with the announcement with John Fox right in his face, just screaming at him. And it erases a 94-yard return for a touchdown.
See if we can pick up Rasmussen. It's right over here on the...
Right there.
Right there. Yeah, that's where it was. Right there it is.
Yeah, I think you made a good point, Chris. You say why? Jake Delhomme throwing the high ball, but here you even say why more. He's so far away from the play, and how many times do you see that on special teams where a guy has no chance of making a play, and yet somebody's grabbing him and holding him?
Looking for an end around, it's Smith with room to run. Steve Smith out of bounds with a first down at the 41-yard line.
Well, I like that call, partly because it worked, but more so because you knew the Buccaneers were going to come out hyped up. They got the interception by Wansley, come out all fired up and over pursuing a little bit. You hit them with the reverse. But we should say about Tim Wansley, the cornerback that just scored the touchdown, that's the guy that got burned on Monday Night Football by Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. All the attention on him after the injury to Brian Kelly, and for him to come back and make that play, huge in his career.
Under 5.5 to play in this first half. Foster. McFarland on the tackle. And a gain of only 1.
As we take a look at Jake Delhomme, and Dan Henning, when I was visiting with him yesterday, said that the reason Jake Delhomme earned the job and was put in there in that first ball game so quickly was because of what he had shown in preseason. And that was an ability to lead this football team and be an emotional lightning rod for the team. But he also said what's going to keep him from playing and put him on the bench is when he starts making critical mistakes. He had that last week in the ball game, and now he has another one here in this ball game. He's got to make better decisions with the football.
Hand off to Foster on 2nd down and 9. Still driving after that initial hit and a gain of 3.
The story of this game so far, though, is the fact that the Carolina Panthers cannot run the football against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In the first game, they were able to gouge them. They gouged them right up the middle. They were double teaming off the nose guard, Booger McFarland, making big runs. Now they're not able to do that. How much of that has to do with the fact Stephen Davis not in the lineup, it's hard to tell. But the Bucs have adjusted and are stopping Carolina's run.
Davis 142 yards rushing on the 14th of September. First time these two teams met. Over the middle, out of the reach. And time to punt. Now a penalty flag comes in flying late. Ricky Prohl was the intended receiver. And it's going to be against Carolina. Dwight Smith and Prohl yapping at each other.
I guarantee you Ricky Prohl probably started by saying, see that flag? It's on you. And
offensive pass interference. Number 87. Penalties decline. 4th down.
It wasn't on either one. It was on Muhsin Muhammad. Is who they made the call on. But Tampa Bay came up in a cover 1, which is man-to-man across the board, safety in the middle, and they protected Jake pretty well. Had an opportunity. It's in the slot, and right there, it looked more. I don't know what Muhammad did.
Now Sauerbrunn with his second punt, and it's Barlow waiting deep. Barlow will let it go, and now has to hop on.
I think it hit a Buccaneers player.
It looked like it may have hit Smith. Dwight Smith hit him in the leg, and Barlow was alert enough to get on top of it.
Yeah, Dwight Smith did not react as though it did hit him, but it certainly looked like it did, and that's why Barlow went and jumped on the ball alertly.
Belongs to Tampa Bay because of the work of Barlow, and Barlow has not returned a punt all season.
Tampa Bay, first down. Timeout.
So the Buccaneers are now on the board thanks to their defense. The offense will try to get it going. Closing minutes of the first half, down by 3.
Where's the line between you and everyone else? You sense it shifting, blurring, fading. So you question things. You think about things. You don't settle. You don't compromise. You don't want to buck the system. You just want to give it a little nudge. We get that. At Miller, we don't compromise either. It's why we cold filter Miller Genuine Draft for the fresh, smooth taste of draft beer. It's why we created the first light beer, the beer that's great tasting and less filling. Because at Miller, we believe there's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call.
There we were planning our vacation online. That's when the pain started.
Digititis is a repetitive stress injury, just like carpal tunnel syndrome, except different.
Basically, it feels like a fleshy fireball on the end of my hand.
We're seeing an explosion of this with all the double clicking that's going on. If we catch this early, we can help.
Searching for a great airfare online doesn't have to be a pain. Just go to southwest.com for our $39 to $99 internet specials when you purchase by November 13th.
You are now free to move about the country.
Well, after an impressive start by the Carolina offense, the interception returned for a touchdown by Wansley, and now you see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers kind of getting a sniff of it. And it'll be interesting to see how their offense comes out in this series.
Yeah, about the kind of game that we expected so far. Defense is 14, offense is 3 so far in the ball game. So they're going to keep slugging it out. This is what we knew it was going to be.
And now back to the action. First down for the Buccaneers at their own 19. Looking left immediately, and the pass is caught by Cook, the fullback.
I've really been impressed with the play of this makeshift offensive line for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a great pass rushing team in Carolina, and they have people moved all over the place. Cornell Green coming in, Kenyatta Walker going from right tackle, left tackle, Kerry Jenkins, Cozy Coleman, who got beat up the first time these two teams played. They've done a great job so far.
Quick snap count over the middle. That's McCardell, and he's got a first down, and I'm not so sure Carolina was ready for the start of that play.
You know, Tampa really got it going last week against the Saints when they got into their no-huddle offense. I was a little surprised that we hadn't seen any of it thus far.
Buccaneers have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Plenty of time on the clock. To Pittman. Jenkins on the stop, a gain of 3.
They're probably going to get one more play off here before the 2-minute warning.
John Wade, the center, is the one guy who's been healthy. Comes out of there limping or grabbing that left shoulder. Looks like that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning.
Can you limp with your shoulder?
Well, he limped, and then he grabbed his shoulder.
I got you.
So it's one or the other. You pick. I'm going to say shoulder.
Okay.
Johnson over to talk. 2 minutes left. Bucks with 3 timeouts remaining, down by 3.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Miller. There's good enough, and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call.
Where's the line between you and everyone else? You sense it shifting, blurring, fading. So you question things. You think about things. You don't settle. You don't compromise. You don't want to buck the system. You just want to give it a little nudge. We get that. At Miller, we don't compromise either. It's why we cold filter Miller Genuine Draft for the fresh, smooth taste of draft beer. It's why we created the first light beer, the beer that's great tasting and less filling. Because at Miller, we believe there's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call.
Why do I rent from Enterprise? Because having the right car or truck makes all the difference. Sweetheart, your honey-do list just got a little bit longer. Sorry.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Come in now for TGI Fridays double glazed ribs. They're basted with our rich Tennessee glaze, then finished with Friday's tangy barbecue sauce. Tear into double glazed ribs. Only at Fridays.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports Ticker will provide you with up-to-the-second scores and stats. Dave Schwabe is our spotter in the booth. Ed Sfida, our statistician. We're glad you're with us as we've got a 3-point game in Tampa Bay on the move, faced with a second down. And that's what Kris was talking about. A total of 3 points for the combined offenses. The defense has turned in 14. Second down and 7. Johnson airs it out looking for McCardell, and he's overthrown.
Carolina jumped down into that bear look on their defense, trying to isolate Cozy Coleman and John Wade and Jason Whittle and open up some opportunities. But once again, they were true to the challenge. Brad Johnson, you would have expected Troy to have a little bit bigger numbers right now with the way they've been pass protecting this bunch.
Yeah, they've given him a little bit of time, and Brad's just not throwing the ball right now very well, and he hasn't been, as I've mentioned, for the past few ball games, and he's just struggling. And when you start struggling as a quarterback, you start aiming.
Third down and 7. Pump fake. Johnson airs it, and incomplete. Carl Williams, the intended receiver, in time for the Buccaneers to punt.
And you don't see this Carolina defense in coverage very much where they're going to go man-to-man, but that's exactly what they do here on a key third down play. And Brad Johnson has some time. They run the pump move, as you see, and he's got a chance down the field, but he's just unable to connect on the play.
It's one of the hardest passes to try and time up because it's not the typical sprint where you've done it 1,000 times. When you're stopping and trying to accelerate again, just a very difficult pass to time up.
Line drive punt by Tupa. Smith has it skip past him. Big hit. Corey Ivy with the biggest hit of the 2 that Smith took after his 7-yard return. And the ball just shy of the 20 for the Panthers. The 2 defensive scores. Mike Minter on a 29-yard interception in return for a touchdown. And then on the other side, pass too high for Muhammad and into the arms of Tim Wansley. He went 23 yards for the score. End of the punt return. That can't feel good.
It was nice of Corey Ivy to hit him the second time, made it a little softer landing.
Fake toss, and Smith. They've been running that play, Troy, a lot, getting it out in his hands and hoping that he can make a move.
He's really become the playmaker for this team and has done a great job all season long. Became a full-time receiver a year ago, and now we're getting a taste as to what Carolina is going to try to do. They're not in the no-huddle offense, the hurry-up offense. They're huddling up. I think they want to take some quick passes, some safe passes, see if maybe they can get some yardage like they did on first down there and potentially try to get some points before this half ends.
Panthers have to be a little timid with Delhomme throwing the ball deep in the Carolina territory. Another short pass and another good move by Smith. And another Panthers first down.
And another missed tackle by Rondé Barber. And as we've talked about, something that he normally excels at.
Can't be much more conservative in the passing game, though, than what Carolina is. And I think that's the right way to go. Booger McFarland's going to show a great hustle on this one, getting all the way across to end up making the play. You don't see many nose tackles tackling wide receivers on the outside.
Well, go find Steve Smith, and that's where the ball's going.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Yeah.
And right now he's up top.
Ricky Prohl is in the lineup. That's Prohl in motion. Handoff. That's Nick Goings. So this will tell you all you need to know about how the Panthers feel with putting the ball in the hands of Jake Delhomme.
Yeah, and the fact that they're not burning a timeout here, and they're going to be pretty content just going into this half at 10-7.
Recently, Castrol Syntec was tested against every leading brand of conventional 5W30 motor oil. It was a punishing comparison under extreme heat and stress beyond anything a car would ever face.
Bob, what are the readings on the other car?
In the end, under these grueling conditions, Castrol Syntec simply performed better. Castrol Syntec. Everything else is just motor oil.
It was Tampa Bay who took the timeout, so they are left with 2, stopping the clock and almost forcing Carolina to make Jake Delhomme try and make a play. Pass complete to Muhammad. Wansley able to wrap him up. About 1.5 yards shy of a first down. The clock continues to run. And after that, Tampa Bay is going to...
Well, now Carolina, they're going into no huddle. They think that they've got something going where maybe they can get some bigger chunks.
Delhomme is just going to take it and try and push the pile forward.
Hey, if this is a first down, really helped. I think Carolina was essentially willing to go in at the half. Tampa called the timeout, forced Carolina to keep playing.
Well, I was going to say, Chris, it's interesting that Carolina comes out, they run the play to Steve Smith. He picks up some big yards. Tampa Bay doesn't want to call timeout then, and the whole philosophy between these two teams has gone back and forth just in this one series as to how they want to approach it before they go into the half. Right now, Carolina feels like they might be able to get more yards and get at least a field goal attempt out of this drive.
Sure, even if you throw an interception now, you're not giving up points the way they did when they tried to throw off their own goal line down there. There's nothing wrong with trying to be a little aggressive at the 41-yard line. Now they have a first down. They're going to have 2 timeouts to work with, and Tampa Bay's strategy may have just backfired.
After the completion of Muhammad, that's when Tampa Bay's philosophy changed. They were going to try and let the clock wind down, but then the quarterback keeper by Delhomme, just enough for a first down. Jake Delhomme over the middle, pass is caught. Another missed tackle as Steve Smith is forced out of bounds by Tim Wansley, a gain of 3.
Now Tampa back into their trademark cover 2, almost more of a prevent style of defense right now. I keep waiting for Carolina to go to work on Tim Wansley. They felt like he was a guy that tended to jump some routes. They thought they could do some double moves against him, but so far they haven't tried it.
Smith already with 7 catches in this first half. 2nd down and 7. Pass complete. That's the tight end Seidman. And he hops out of bounds just shy of midfield. About a yard, maybe a little over a yard shy of a first down.
Well, the best thing that Mike Seidman has done along with Steve Smith on the previous play is they've been able to get out of bounds and keep from having to use timeouts. We've still got a couple and get a chance here to convert on a third down and keep this drive alive.
Still no pressure, though, from the Buccaneers. They really haven't been getting close to Delhomme.
Third down and 1, a toss to Foster. Deshaun Foster does not pick up the first down. Spires on the stop, and that is a big hold by this Tampa Bay defense.
And this is not Carolina's running game. I've really studied this team. I love watching their running game. This is not what they do. They're not a toss team. Of course, with Deshaun Foster out there, they're changing things up a little bit now. But this is not typical of what we've seen when Stephen Davis was in the game.
But this is the end of the first half. So Carolina, by not picking up the first down, they'll let the clock wind down. So will the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that's the end of the first half of play here in Charlotte. The score, 10-7 Panthers. The Visa halftime report coming up. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy right after this. And a word from your local Fox station. Jake Delhomme, the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, out in front 10-7 thanks to a 47-yard field goal by John Casey. He's now hit, what, 20 straight, so he's been automatic for the Carolina Panthers. And the guys were talking about special teams play, field position. That is what you get the sense is going to determine who wins and loses this game.
Yeah, this game's not going to be a lot unlike the other games that these two teams have played. Both defenses are playing exceptionally well. Of course, Jake Delhomme, I think he's played well except for the one huge mistake that has allowed Tampa Bay to get back into this ball game.
And you have to remember how big this game is. I mean, it really changes the entire landscape of the NFL depending on who wins here. If all of a sudden the world champions are knocked back and look like more of a wild card possibility instead of a division champ, everything changes. And for Carolina, you have to ratchet them up to another level if they were to come in and win this game and get that big 3-game lead.
So Carolina will start this second half with the football. And Jake Delhomme is trying to get loose after the break, the intermission, and we look at the statistics. Playing it close to the vest, although 118 yards through the air might surprise you, even if you've watched every second of this game for the Carolina Panthers, compared to only 73 for Brad Johnson and the Buccaneers. Line drive kickoff, and Rod Smart on the return. Already had one 94-yarder called back. Penalty flag comes in on the return, which gets the ball back just across the 30. 25-yard return, but a flag came flying in from this near side of the field. Tom White.
There is no illegal block in the back. No foul.
Let's send it down to Pam Oliver. Pam.
Hey, Joe, John Gruden was a little bit more than frustrated with the play of his offense in the first half. Reacting to my earlier conversation, and Gruden is pretty much singing the same song, and that is field position. He says we can't continue to remain backed up in our own territory if we want some success. Meanwhile, John Fox, on the other hand, is anticipating that Tampa will make some adjustments offensively. He says my group just has to be ready. As far as his offense is going, he seems very pleased with it almost. He said ball control and time of possession is key for us.
Here's ball control, a toss to Foster running right, and Deshaun picked up 8. One thing Gruden can't be upset with, and Kris, you've touched on it a couple of times already, is the play of his offensive line against a very good defensive front for Carolina. But we've seen some missed opportunities. We've seen some drops for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers so far in this game.
Yeah, and this bunch up front, if you remember last year when they started on their playoff run, their Super Bowl run, it was the offensive line that carried them there. This was not a real great offensive team until they got together, and all of a sudden a couple of changes have been made. They look better.
Second down and 2. Deshaun Foster running right. Gets hit in the backfield, and then Warren Sapp cleans up. Third down and 1 coming up. Spires was the first to get there.
And I think to follow up with what you said, Chris, as far as what Carolina has at stake here, they've got a 2-game lead right now over Tampa Bay. If they win this ball game, then it becomes a 3-game lead. But because they would then have won both head-to-head matchups, it in essence becomes a 4-game lead with 7 games to play. So when you've got a chance to knock out the defending world champions and knock them out of your divisional race, you've got to be able to take advantage of that. Just as much at stake for this Carolina team as what there is for Tampa Bay.
Third down and 1. Delhomme keeps it and fights his way forward for what appears to be a first down.
Well, Jake Delhomme, he is a scrapper. We had a chance to talk with him the other day, the Raging Cajun, but he is a guy that has lots of fight, and he knows his limitations. You know, we're not sitting up here insulting the guy. He knows he's not Brett Favre or Troy Aikman. He says, I want those guys when I walk in the huddle to see passion. I want them to see confidence out of me. I want to make plays for these guys, and they believe him. You talk to some of these offensive linemen, they love the guy.
Enough for a first down on that quarterback keeper. Delhomme has time. Trying to get it out to his tight end, and stepping in front is Lynch as Jermaine Wiggins was open for a moment, but Delhomme couldn't get it to him.
And this offensive line, again, does a good job. This was more coverage that forced Delhomme out of the pocket. You got Rondé Barber there on Steve Smith, and Musa Muhammad working the other side. And even with Jake Delhomme getting outside the pocket, there was just nowhere to really go with the football. I know John Gruden talked about field position and how he wants better field position for his offense, but that's not just on the shoulders of the special teams. Defense has to do their part. Offense has to do their part in order to get good field position throughout this second half.
Tampa Bay still looking for their first sack of the day. It won't come here as Muhammad has a first down.
With that reception, and again a first down by Carolina, now they cross the 50-yard line. They're now in Tampa Bay territory. If they don't get a first down on this next 3 plays, they're going to be pinning Tampa Bay down again.
68 straight games with a sack, tying a record held by the Cowboys for this defense under the guidance of Monty Kiffin, who we just showed you. No sacks today. And it's Deshaun Foster. Got close to the 45-yard line, a gain of about a yard. Warren Sapp on the tackle.
Simeon Rice made the comment earlier in the week that if Warren Sapp and Booger McFarland can get the job done stopping the run up front, I'll win the game by myself, coming around the outside and getting pressure. But so far that has not happened.
Second down and 9. An early 10-0 lead for Carolina. Wansley, an interception, return for a touchdown. It's 10-7. Toss to Foster. Rudd the first to get his hands on him, then Wansley forced him out. And a penalty flag on the play after a gain of 1. And a face mask, the personal foul variety, so this is 15 yards.
And there it is right there. Easy call for the officials. Dwayne Rudd with the face mask and
personal foul. Defense. Team penalty. That's a first down.
All the way to the 31-yard line after that penalty by Dwayne Rudd.
Yeah, of course, Dwayne Rudd making his first start for the Buccaneers here today. And, you know, a guy who was a former first-round pick for the Vikings and a quality football player for the Cleveland Browns as well, came in here to be the starter and got beat out by Ryan Neese. But there was some concern coming into this game as to how he would react.
Unfortunately, only remembered for taking his helmet off for Cleveland in a game, costing his team a win as Delhomme is flushed and slides and almost took a shot to the face by Rudd. Delhomme and the Panthers looking for a flag, and they don't get it.
Delhomme's been looking for a couple. And Musa Muhammad was looking for the football. He runs a little out and up, and he gets Barber out of the way, and Muhammad pulls up, and he's wide open, but Delhomme doesn't see him. That was a good non-call.
I think what happened was Jake was looking to throw the deep ball on the out and up. That's typical Jake right there.
The Raging Cajun.
He's an emotional guy. He was upset with himself at chewing out one of his players or reacting like that when Wiggins dropped the touchdown last week.
Foster running left. Cuts it up. Has a first down. Penalty flag on the play. And it's Musin Muhammad who's complaining. He may be called for another hold. But we'll check the marker. Muhammad was hot after that flag came flying. And it is against Carolina.
Holding, number 87,